first placement here is Orange Special Steve. Last time it was Sai. We'll see if this first placement is helpful on this board. First look, it doesn't seem super helpful just because this is a good spot, this is a good spot, this is a good spot. I think if I'm Spatula Steve, I go here because I don't want Sai to take this spot or this spot. I think that's just too overpowered along with this spot. I think if I take this spot, then these two spots are just crazy good. I think he could just go here too and take a free road. It would just be a mess, an absolute mess. So I think here is probably best first placement, but I think Orange here drew the short end of the stick. Now remember, these are both champs, former champs. These are both former champs, but I mean, I guess I am too technically. But you know, like for 1v1, right? These players know what they're doing, and they're gonna think differently than I do. Spatula Steve here going for this spot, probably thinking that there's 100% chance that she can get wheat and ore on the way back, and maybe realizing that sheep isn't as likely, right? This is a kind of weird spot, but this isn't that much better. So I feel like there has to be something better than this here, right? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's a tough first placement to choose, but I think I would have gone here. Pointed left, go to the wood port. I think that's not bad. Now, Sai here needs to claim a sheep. Could forego it. Could just go here, go there. I think this is a good spot. Just claim some sheep, go down, have access to this, take the free road here, and then have access here. Or just take this. This is interesting too, but does go there. I think should point left to get some sheep. I think that'll be good. But points down. I think this spot will be taken though. So I don't like this at all because I don't think he really wants to go here, and he cannot go here because 100% Spatula Steve is going to place here. So I don't agree with this play. I don't agree with the play from either player, honestly, which is kind of crazy. But I'm sitting here and they're still playing. So this is why we watch, right? I'm interested to see how this plays out. Kind of a weird board. Yeah, and I just think here is just too good for what he just chose. You get access to all resources. You have the free road. You'll get access to this too. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you have a clear path of how you can get like longest road and get access to the wood spots and then get access to the wood port. But this is just so clearly wrong to me because I don't think you're ever anticipating going to this spot. Like, you're preferring not to. Now you could, just because, you know, Spatula Steve will place there, and then you'll share your ore with Spatula Steve and make more. But Spatula Steve here is off to a good start in general. Now, I will say off the bat, I do still think Sai is in better shape. Better road building. Doesn't have as much sheep, but that's not that important right now. The only issue I have is that this is just such a blunder to me. I think pointing left is so much better. And I think if he pointed left, then I think he would easily run away with this. And so this is interesting now, right? So a potential upset, right? Because if you remember, Sai is our only 2 seed who has made it to the quarterfinals. And everyone else is the 1 seed. They led their group, Spatula Steve being one of them. And Spatula Steve is a former champ, just like Sai. But Sai, stepped away from the game a little bit and has come back into this brand new format for him and is learning. And is learning very quickly and honestly has made significant progress already with the free road towards this amazing productive settlement spot. And if I'm going to give someone the win right now, it would be Sai, just because the road production is just so much more heavy for Sai than it is for Spatula Steve. And I think that's going to matter. Because you could say also, Spatula Steve here does have access to more, or more wheat and sheep, but does not have more access than Sai to ore. So this wheat and sheep becomes less compatible, right? So you're going to need to settle here quickly. But even then, if Sai just goes ahead and blocks that spot, it's not that bad. It's really bad for you. But it's not. It's not a bad move for Sai, right? I think just not even trying to settle here. Just go for the sheep. Go for the sheep. Go for the wood. Do something, right? But maybe leave the spot open. And maybe at the last second you can kind of claim that spot if you need the production and know that, you'll always produce ore. But if you can find a way to control the robber, then, go for it. And I think, pretty compatible production. 10-4, it's pretty compatible. We'll see. We'll see. Low ore board in general, right? So that's going to be interesting. And both sharing that spot, getting the same wheat. The good thing is they know that they'll never hit each other on the wheat, so everyone will get wheat, no matter what. Yeah, so early predictions, I do think red takes it. And if red takes it, this would be a 2-0 sweep. So just 2 games out of the 3 needed to take down a former champ. Again, I'll reiterate, right? Like, this is a star-studded match. These guys have proven that they're the best. And it'll be interesting to see if Sai can pull off this upset, right? Kind of lost his first 2 straight to Caleb Watson. But since then has not lost a single game. Actually, no, did technically lose a game in the first round in the octofinals, but purely, I think, due to disconnecting from the game. The bot could not pull through for him, unfortunately. But the first settle goes to Sai, and not hesitating to settle to take advantage of that friendly robber. Just wants the extra production, and that's amazing. Spatula Steve here has yet to build a road. Another high niche from Spatula Steve. We'll have to see it. Hi, Sydney. Let's see. 1 dove card in hand for orange here. Placing the road, finally. Okay, so, road and settle. So, makes sense. I think I would have just roaded in the first place if I was going to commit there, because you want to make sure that Sai doesn't do something weird like this. But it was unlikely that he would do that anyways, I guess. But just road settle is mostly useful when you want to surprise opponents, but in this case you want to actually cut them off in this option altogether. So I would just road before you settle, instead of road settling. But either way, both of them get it. Both of them share their wheat. Both of them are on the same 10 ore. So common themes developing between the last game and this game. And an expensive wheat trade for Sai, and I assume this will be a city. And it is a city. It goes right there for the extra road production. And also, of course, the 10 giving you all the ore you need to build a city. And we'll see. I mean, I think this could be more of a runaway than the last game. If you remember, the last game was so tense. It was so close. And it was just, the ports just decided at the end of the day. And I think the ports will matter here in the long term. And I do think that Sai is close to that sheep port, close to that wood port. Specialty is kind of close to these 3-for-1s, but not really pointing towards them. And then here, kind of stuck in the middle, right? So it's hard to access the ports, and this is going to be a tough climb for her out of this one. Now, Specialty, if you remember, in my predictions, had her going all the way to the semis. So I predicted her to be one of the Wild Card Tourney RoC Elite finishers, right? But the final 4, right? But didn't really happen in the first game, and we'll see if it's more of the same here, right? Hopefully it's not a sweep. We love this close series, but these are just hard-fought matches in general, right? Like, each game is such a slugfest. Like, that last one, I think it was like a 30-minute video, right? Usually these 1v1s are like 20 minutes, 10 minutes, sometimes even 5 minutes, right? But that was just a hard-fought match, right? This one is going to be 2. It already is turning out to be, because I agree, like, this is a great second spot to hit just because you stop the road production. And road production matters in a 1v1. It does. It matters in the early and middle games because you need to get to the spots before your opponent so you can settle on them. And eventually, if you just don't have any roads, you're not going to be able to build enough settlements or cities to win. You can't do everything off of dev cards. You need some roads. Although it depends on the board, right? I say that, but like, you could dev card in some cases 100%. Pick up a couple road builders, you're set too, right? You don't even need any wood or brick, right? Dev cards are the one game that you could technically win a game off of with just sheep, wheat, and ore production. But it does matter, and especially in these competitive games, it's going to matter. The spacing matters a lot. The races matter a lot. Every settle blocks off a potential other settle, right? So you see this kind of zigzag pattern, like you're seeing them kind of like go across from each other, blocking off potential production spots, right? Ideally, you can have 3 per hex. These guys are only getting 2 per hex, right? So it's like a spacing game, right? It's like very much every settlement spot is earned, and that's why the road production matters, because you need the spacing, you need the expansion that road gives you. Two dev cards for orange here, and red really falling behind with this robber placement. I don't know. Spatula Steve here could prove me wrong, right? Okay, so building a road there, to me, signifies, you're going to go for the wood port, but you're going to be efficient about it because you're also going to go to the 3-for-1 port, which gives you another 8 wood of production. So this is an absolutely amazing strategy. Everything kind of seems to be lining up. The one thing I still disagree with is this hanging road. And this wouldn't have to be hanging if you pointed it left. If you pointed it left, you go up to the sheep port, go to this spot, you would be in really, really good shape. Especially with this three wood in addition to that wood port. Oh man, you would be living the life, right? But I do get it's tempting to take the ore, right? But this spot which is never going to be open. Both at 10, sitting here, and so 2 cities for Sai, none yet for Spatula Steve, and the unfortunately times 7 for Spatula Steve, having to discard 5 resources here, and we're gonna see where she places, probably back here. Yeah, makes sense. So now back at 6 resources. Can't really do anything with this, it looks like, except for buy a dev card. Now 3 dev cards in hand. That's getting really, really scary. And a nice juicy 8. Everyone loves those, but Special Steve kind of loves them a little bit less, for sure. The good thing with Special Steve is definitely getting more ore production here with this ore. But the ore production is just lacking in general, so it's kind of hard to say. I think the ports will matter. And I think Sai will get to them first again. Now that said, for the first time in this series, Orange here has the option of settling here, which is absolutely massive. Because out of the 3 strongest wheat hexes, Spatula Steve is on 3 of them. This wheat port could now suddenly be very, very useful. Now, it may be hard to still compete with a Sai because this wood port and this 3-for-1 are going to be very, very nice to use. But at the same time, it'll keep her in the hunt. And both of them are at 4 now, 3 dev cards in hand. The reason I say keep her in the hunt, right? 3 dev cards in hand with the settlements is crazy, but there are no cities yet, and I'm waiting for the city. I want the first city to drop. I want it to drop right here, and I want to see the ball get rolling. Honestly, I could be convinced to go here too, but that would be kind of outrageous given the scenario. 11 cards though has to do something. Stole 5 cards, so an absolutely huge mono by Spatula Steve to steal 5. If you remember the last game, I think Sai took 8 or 9 wheat from Spatula Steve. These monos are rarely that useful. 5 is an amazing grab, and trading 4 of those in for an ore, which he's able to city with, and sitting there, it's an absolutely huge turn. A mono for a city is great, especially this early, and we'll see if that brings her back a little bit. This robber is going to be very, very crucial for Sai here. Five cards in hand. Probably can't do too much. Maybe think about buying a dev card, and it does. And did trade 4-for-1 for that dev card. So 2 brick for Special Steve. So that 11 hitting, which is really nice to see. That'll be really nice. 12 cards in hand. Probably has the wood to match and can build 2 roads, I would assume, here and here to get to this wheat port. And taking Long's Road with it. Now, an interesting backdoor opportunity will be building 2 roads there if there is somehow, Road Builder in hand. Road Builder would go crazy hard right now to take that 3-for-1. It wouldn't do too much because obviously the side could go here for the 3-to-1, but it's not as tempting anymore, and you cut off another wood spot that the side can take for production. Now hitting this 5 and using the knight. So 2 knights played to 1 dev card in hand. So 2 of those were knights that Special Steve had, and being able to settle now. So this is great. Everyone's in a really good spot. I will say Special Steve is getting ahead, right? And this is just such a killer, right? This robber has been killing Sai this whole game. And on the other hand, Special Steve using this production very nicely. Going to city here next, I assume. and is, or could city here, but I think going to city here just for the 2-for-1. And the cities will just come from there. I think it'll be a really fun time for Spatula Steve soon here. $12 does nothing. 10 cards in hand. Fourth warning for a brick. Curious about what that is planned for. Could this be a road builder? Could that be a road builder? Is this a plow? It is not. Okay, so it is just a knight. So it turns out, the dev cards really do help because you get to just completely restrict your opponent's production. And Spatula Steve here running away with it. And I will say I am surprised. I am surprised. I did think Sai was in a good spot here. But just not enough. Just straight up just not enough. I don't know what to say. I mean, didn't have enough dev cards going his way, and that really, really matters. It does matter. Sitting here, and in a really good spot now. I think settling here, sitting there, sitting here, and that'll complete it. That'll be 4 cities. 1, 2, 3, gets to 14 at the current state. And just needs to road settle somewhere. Or just road settle here. Just road settle, right? Keep it efficient. But it could obviously draw the dev cards. No one has pulled a VP yet, even though quite a few dev cards have been drawn. So now finally settling. Getting the rolls to do so. But it's kind of insane to think that Sai settled on this wood port before Spatula Steve could settle on this weed port. Oh, oh, that's absolutely nasty. So a settle here and then a road settle on a 3-for-1. So getting 2 ports in 1 turn and 2 settlements, that's an absolutely massive jump. So maybe I spoke too soon, because that 3-for-1 will make a difference, although I don't know if the production is quite there yet for that 3-for-1 to make a difference. This city needs to come down, and then I'll feel really good about it. – 11 cards in hand. I wonder what she's thinking right now. So here, she's trying to settle on this spot. The reason being, if you settle on this spot, you guarantee yourself longest road in this game. Sai really wants to settle here because he doesn't want this to connect. Because if it doesn't connect, then you can't use these roads efficiently. Those roads will be wasted completely, right? And in that case, it'll be these 3 or these 2, and you have to pick. And in that case, this one road here doesn't seem so bad if you somehow can find a way to connect all the way there. Now, it takes a lot. You need road builders. It's tough. But that's the thought. And 2 cities go down for Spatula Steve. It just might be too little too late, right? And that's totally fair. I think that's a very fair reason to lose. This will be a 1-1 tied series after game 2, it looks like. So we'll see if that comes to pass. And Sai buying a dev card. So trying desperately to stay in it, but Spatula Steve also getting very unlucky with the dev cards. Not a single one has been a VP. 11 here. 4 for winning for what for wheat, and maybe a death card. There had to be some VPs, right, at some point. Only 2 cards here for Sai. Maybe he uses the knight. Does he do it? He does. And can't do much from there. And another 7. And absolutely devastating for Sai. Just has not left. Ooh. So putting it on her own thing, because knowing that she'll be able to settle. And yeah, it's a clean victory. Finally getting that that elusive VP at the last second, which is the perfect time to get it. So yeah, love to see that. And wow. Wow. We have a series on our hands. So game 3 will come up. Let's just quickly go through the stats here. Nice stats. Ooh, kind of wonky, a little bit weird. Got some nice tall 6s, so that really helps Bachelor Steve with production. Yeah. I mean, we can see a lot of explosive plays. You know, we saw the 1 mono for 5 cards, which resulted in a death card. Or was it a city? I don't know. But, you know, everything else was knights. And then the 1 VP at the end. It's not a super explosive death card game, right? But it was enough. It was enough to make it matter. So 119 to 79 resources. So the winner seemed obvious. And yeah, we'll be back with game 3 coming up tomorrow. See you then.